To the Web Development and Design Information session from UC Davis, Continuing and Professional Education. Thanks for all joining us this morning. We appreciate your time and we hope you get something from our session this morning. Let's go over our agenda really quickly. We're first going to be talking about the Web Development Certificate Program. I'll give you some information around our web design professional concentration. We have a subject matter expert with us this morning, Mr. Bill Mead. We'll talk to Bill a bit. We'll go over some of the career trends in this area. We'll show you how you can finance your education, what the program discounts are. And then at the end, we'll have a Q&A session. But if you'd like to ask us a question as we're going through the slide deck this morning, we welcome that as well. Here's our information session quote of the day from Albert Einstein. Any fool can know, the point is to understand. And that's kind of an important motif for technology, because we're not going to be teaching you a random series of facts that you then deploy. The idea behind this certificate program and the courses in this program is to have you skilled up and be able to be employable upon graduation or completion of the courses. So the courses are set up for you to practice, not to memorize facts. And the point is for you to understand the objectives at the end of the certificate program. We have with us Bill Mead, and we're going to shake things up a little bit by talking to Bill now. Bill is an instructor, and he actually has classes today. So we're lucky to have him for 10 or 15 minutes. Bill is an instructor through the Sacramento area, teaches for UC Davis, for other colleges, and probably at every community college in the Sacramento area. So Bill, welcome this morning.
Hi, it's great to see everybody here. I'm glad you guys are interested in learning about web design and web development.
Yeah. So Bill, you're a pretty seasoned instructor. One of the questions that we usually get during these info sessions is the level of skills that students need coming into the program. Can you speak to that a bit?
Sure. I think what's nice about web development is it's really the gateway for programming in general. So the skills you need are not very steep. You don't need a lot of heavy duty equipment, or you don't need to pay for a lot of expensive software. So it makes for a great entry level for coming in to a field that you can go in a lot of different directions and develop as a professional. I think one skill that's really helpful coming in is being able to type with 10 fingers, touch typing. I've had a lot of students try to, work through my classes with hunting and pecking, and that's really not going to help you out very much. So I do recommend that there are plenty of keyboarding exercises you can do online to get good at typing. You don't have to be super fast, but you do need to be accurate, because when it comes to code, when you get one semicolon in the wrong place or you swap out a character, then things break. But that's a really important skill, believe it or not.
Yeah, that's a very insightful, very insightful.
But in terms of other skills, it's really, the level of skills isn't too high. It helps to have a fair amount of experience with poking around the web and looking at what websites look like and how they work and function. But that's all experience you can get in the process as well.
Right. And just so we can better set the table here a bit, once your students graduate from the programs that you've been involved with, what type of jobs have they been able to get, and what type of companies do they go work for?
I think there's sort of maybe 3 different areas of jobs, depending on the kind of interest level you have and the kind of direction you want to go. The first area is getting a job with an organization where you're the web person. where, it could be a real estate association. It could be, something like that, where the other people working there have other areas of expertise, but then they're looking for you to do kind of all the work that has to do with supporting them on the web. And these kinds of jobs are great because they usually involve a lot of variation. Today, you might be editing video to put on a web page. Tomorrow, you might be actually writing that web page. The next day, you might be, out taking photography for the website or something like that. So there's usually a lot of variety in those types of jobs.
That's really
Then,
neat.
I'm sorry, John.
No, go ahead.
And then that's the first sort of area. The second area is you can go get a job in an agency or a small company where you're working with a team of people. Those jobs are great because you'll probably be working with others who have more experience, and you can really continue your education by being mentored by other people, by being on a small team. Companies like 329 in Sacramento or Buckwild, or there are a lot of agencies around town that have teams of people building websites, and it's a very lucrative area to be in. So that's a really great sort of place to go for jobs. And then the third area is the larger companies, whether we're talking about VSP in Sacramento, which is one of the larger companies in the Sacramento area. They have a whole, in-house design team doing stuff for the entire corporation. And these jobs can also be really great to get and have come with, a lot of great benefits working for a larger company, more job security, more benefits. The smaller outfits are, less likely to have as good healthcare programs and these kinds of things. Working for the state, working for some of these larger institutions, they're always hiring and looking for people who have skills in these areas.
Right. And Sacramento has a strong government presence, like you said, the state, even at the federal level. But there are web development jobs working for the government too, correct?
Oh yeah, I've actually worked with one of my former students is involved in the California prison system, and they have an entire ecosystem within the prison system of creating content, video content, websites, all kinds of content that is for the prison system, and they're always looking for people. It's not a place you would think of as being a great place to go to work, but you know these can be really great jobs that you wouldn't necessarily have thought about.
Mm-hmm. And even if you have some background, say you're a dental assistant and all of a sudden you want to switch into web development, you can still stay in the healthcare industry. You can still go work for Sutter, you can still go work for Kaiser.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have former students that are working for Sutter as
yeah, good,
developers.
good.
Um,
Well, well, Bill, that's thanks for the insight and the initial talk. You're welcome to stay on as long as you can. I know you've got classes to teach, but
and I'll stick around,
appreciate you hanging out with us this morning. So
see if anybody has any questions.
okay, all right, let's continue through the deck. So our contacts, I'm John Dolan, a public education specialist with UC Davis Continuing and Professional Education.
Hi, I'm Alex Hoven. I'm one of the program managers for this course and other courses, and I'll be monitoring the question, the Q&A, and the chat. So if you have any questions at all, please type them in there and we'll get to them right away or at the end. Thanks.
So a little bit about UC Davis Continuing and Professional Education. We're the life learning arm of UC Davis. We're providing learning opportunities that transform organizations, communities, and people. And what does that really mean? That means that when people our target audience is normally adult learners, and when an adult learner wants to change in some way, they want to skill up, they want to reskill, or they want to actually start in a new transition for their employment, we provide those opportunities. We're talking about technology today, but we also do things like master brewing and project management and accounting and sustainability. So there's lots of ways that people transform their lives, and UC Davis CPE is the gateway for that. So we have a long tradition of success in serving the Northern California community. We've got about 64,000 annual enrollments in about 3,100 courses. We serve students in the Sacramento area, plus students, we have students from all 50 states, and we have about 110 countries represented in our student pool as well. And we've got over 50 years of service to the state of California. We are a land grant university, so our mission is to serve the people of our area and extending that reach as we can. So let's talk about the Web Development Certificate Program. So all courses are fully online and instructor-led, and that's important in today's environment. So this certificate program is a foundational program teaching essential skills. This is a skills-based program, meaning that we're matching the skills that you'll learn in this program to the skills employers are looking for, okay? So 5 required courses, 15 units, about 150 hours of learning to go through the entire certificate program. Our regular rate is $825 per course. We'll talk about discounts a bit later at the end. And all courses are approved by the UC Davis School of Engineering and carry 3 academic credits per course.
Don, we have a question that Bill can handle while he's still here. One participant would like to know how our program differs from various boot camps that you can find.
Yeah, I can address that. I think what I've noticed from the boot camps is they tend to take a very sort of narrow stack of technologies and really teach up that stack. Whereas what we're doing here at UC Davis in the UC Davis Continuing and Professional Education Program is that we're teaching a more broader base. Both approaches can work. So if you think of it, one way to think of it is that our program is broad, so you can think of it as more horizontally shaped, whereas the boot camps are more vertically shaped. They, take a very specific technology like Node.js and Angular or something like that, and really build up that stack. And you get very good at that one particular technology. And then from there, you can broaden out. Here, what we're doing is building a strong foundation, and then you can choose a particular technology that you want to specialize in and work from there. Hopefully that answers your question and gives you kind of a sense of where to go with that.
Terrific.
Thank you. And John, one more question. The tuition is the same regardless of whether you're in California or taking the course from another state?
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Thank you.
Here's some high-level learning objectives for the certificate program. So again, this is to gain an understanding and hands-on experience in the current technologies and languages. And the key there is the technologies in a language like JavaScript does change. So you need to understand that once you enter this field, or if you're already in this field, you know that you immediately become a lifelong learner, because you got to keep up with the technologies, you've got to keep up with the languages to be successful. And we provide gateways and pathways on how to do that. And you're going to develop the capacity to keep up with these changes. We'll show you how to learn what are some of the new tricks in JavaScript. We'll show you how to keep up with the latest technologies. And that's key as you upskill and perhaps go on to a different company, that you want to be that person who has the latest technologies in their back pocket. And I think the third one is really building a more non-technical skill to work in a collaborative environment, being able to communicate with stakeholders, how to work with a manager, how to go downstream with a team, And then we're going to ask you to create a portfolio of your work. And that portfolio is a piece you can show your prospective employer or someone that you work with. I talk to people, to businesses all the time to make sure that the skills that you learn here match up with the skills that they're looking for as employers. And this non-technical skill is very important. As one employer told me, he said, you know, I can teach someone our process. I can teach them HTML. I can teach them how to create a functional web page in our environment. What I need to do is have someone come to me and be able to sit down with a client, be able to work within a group, be able to collaborate among their peers. That's as important as the skills. And this program will give you those non-technical skills. There are 5 required courses in the certificate program: creating functional websites, web programming with JavaScript, server-side scripting with PHP, personal homepage, database design, development, and management, and then creating a web application with AJAX. And we'll go into the detail around the requirements that all these courses have. Why did we choose those courses? Why did we choose those 5 courses in building out their program? We did it specifically to match up with what employers are looking for in the Northern California, Sacramento market. As a public education specialist, I spend a lot of time making sure that when a student graduates from our program, they are employable. And I do that by having advisory boards look at our content. I do that by having people who are hiring professionals look at our program. They give us suggestions. They advise us on the best ways to improve our curriculum so that when our attendees, our students graduate, they are employable from day one. And Sacramento is a good place to graduate in a web development certificate program right now. As of Friday, there are 580 jobs advertised in this area. The starting salary is over $80,000. And here are the titles that you'll see as you go through some of the web hiring sites. Things like a web developer, a web designer, a web applied developer, front-end web developers, there's web engineers, there's JavaScript developers, there's .NET developers, there's even web technicians. This just gives you the broad range and the broad skill set that employers are looking at. And my favorite stat around this is of the 580 jobs, that's over 200 different companies looking for web developers right now. So the market is increasing, the market is accelerating, and this is a good time to enter the web, to enter the market as a web developer. That's why we chose those 5 courses, to match up with the jobs that are being advertised currently.
John, we have another question in the Q&A from an attendee, and Bill is available to answer it.
Yeah, Nadia was asking, you know, as somebody new to the field, is this a good program to go to start to get the experience you need? And I would say, yes, it is. The courses start from the very beginning and will really build up your skills right from the start. You don't have to come in with a lot of experience. Again, it helps if you can type and if you're, you know, familiar with the web and how the web works generally. But in terms of coding experience, you don't need to have any coding experience prior to taking a course. Yeah, you'll really learn the basics right from the start. I hope.
Terrific. Very good, thank you. All right, here's the first important update, that the web development program is undergoing a change right now. This will be the last run of this program. This cohort is enrolling starting in January. And we're doing that because in about a year from now, we will be redoing this program and rolling out a different look for the program. So this is the last opportunity for learners to enroll in what we are calling the fast track, or take individual courses during this time. So you have both options. But the important thing is, once you enroll in the program, we're going to help you get through the program such that that you don't take 18 months or 2 years, because the program will look different a year from now, and we want you to be aware of that. Okay, let's go into the actual classes. So the first is creating functional websites. So this is the basic foundational course. This is the language of the internet, and you're going to learn some really key skills. You're going to learn how to code in hypertext markup language. How do you build a basic web page? You're going to understand core functional website fundamentals, such as menus, lists, hyperlinks, images, forms, tables, etc. If you open a web page these days, all these things are there: a list, a menu, a pop-up menu, and you're going to learn how to build that. You know, we all think that when we go online shopping and these pop-up windows just happen. Well, someone had to code those. Someone had to put those in place, and someone had to make sure they worked. You're going to learn how to do all that. And you're going to explore the production process. And that means that once you build something, you're going to launch it into a production site where other people can look at it, test it, make sure that that the Q&A, the quality assurance, is in place for that. So the production process is a normal business environment, and we're going to show you what that production process looks like. So that's creating functional websites.
Great. We have another question that Bill can address. Angela wants to know if there are any prep courses that we recommend to take online, and also how fast-paced is the program?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't think that there's any specific prep course that you should take beforehand, but it is helpful to look around at, at resources that have to do with web design and web development online. You can do a lot of your own research to find out which areas of this that you think are going to be most interesting to you. In terms of the pace of the courses are 10 weeks long, so they move at a pretty good clip. It's not like the community college where you have 16 weeks or a whole semester to really dive into something. So they move along pretty quickly. And my experience with teaching these particular classes at UC Davis Extension is that the students are pretty committed. They are usually, as John said, coming in from another field or another, so they're adult students that really want to do this stuff, and they're willing to put in the time and the energy to get good at the skills for each individual class, so that they can really learn this stuff.
Yeah, and in those 10 weeks, it's a 3 credit hour course, so that's about 30 hours of study time associated with that. So just keep that in mind. Okay, that's the creating functional website course. The next is web programming with JavaScript. And boy, this is such an important course. JavaScript is by far the #1 skill that employers ask for when they are recruiting. Not only here in the Northern California, Sacramento market, but globally as well. Get to know JavaScript. JavaScript will be your friend. This is a core programming language, and like any other language, you got to keep practicing it because it changes. If you've taken a foreign language, you know that if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. Same thing with JavaScript. It's the core programming language, and we want you to continue practicing in JavaScript. Again, you're a lifelong learner entering this field, and we will encourage you to continue to take other courses, other versions, more complex versions of JavaScript, which we'll have as an offering as well. So you're going to be creating dynamic content in web pages. You're going to practice and learn how to code in web programming in JavaScript. You're going to demonstrate the mechanics, the things like form processing and functions with JavaScript. There are JavaScript people who code. They create what we call rat's nests. These rat's nests are coding that you have to untangle, you have to debug. So you'll learn JavaScript debugging techniques. And again, as Bill said, no programming background is required, but I would urge you to keep practicing as you would with any language. That's very, very important here. Third course is server-side scripting with PHP. So let's step back for a second and just globally look where we are. So we're ideally teaching you to become what's called a full stack developer. And the full stack developer is someone that has three attributes, right? They can do some front end work, like creating a functional database. They can actually work with the database, and that's what the server-side scripting is about. And then they can do back-end work as well, and we have courses addressed to that. So now we're starting to figure out that middle portion is server-side scripting with PHP, connecting PHP to a database, and that's going to be very important in terms of making your web page dynamic, how to work with server-side based with server-based files, what are the regular expressions and common PHP functions. Again, skills here. We're teaching you skills. We'll get you a core understanding of drawing dynamic graphics, and then how to work with syndication web services like AWS or other web services out there that are accepted as being standards within the industry. So again, this is a database course linking the PHP, your personal homepage, to a database, because it just can't stand by itself. It's got to feed into something. You'll be looking for lines of code that are part of the database, and this will explore how to do that. The fourth course is database design, development, and management. This is a little more technical course now. And remember, what we're building up is going from a simple to more and more complex ideas and developments. And this is the fourth course in the specialization. So this is the basics of modern database terminology. There are people who just specialize in this area. They're called DBAs, or database admin people, and they just love this type of work. They like working with large sets of codes and being able to archive them, being able to design them, being able to create them. They'll talk about how you can specialize. So if you got that set of tools and you enjoy working with large pieces of information, this is one way to do it. Become a database admin person. So you'll construct logical data models to meet specific database requirements, and you will code simple SQL statements to create, retrieve, update, and delete values in that database. So you're really going to be doing these hand-on practice, learning these tools of how to interact with a database. But again, this is a modern database course. The key here is you're going to learn how to be an architect, design, and create within the database, such as a core function in web development. Great. So our fifth course is the final course, creating web applications with AJAX. And AJAX is simply a asynchronous JavaScript and XML. And what is this all about? So we're going to start combining all the skills that you've learned in the first four courses and put them together in actually creating a vibrant and viable web application. So you'll combine your XML skills, your cascading skills, your JavaScript skills, and all your server-side scripting. And the point around this is to create a highly interactive content so that the page doesn't have to reload and reboot. You know, you've seen that when you've done your own surfing, that you get frustrated when you're waiting for a page to reload. And we're going to teach you how to do that. And the objective around this is that you're going to have a portfolio. We call this a capstone course, and you're going to create a project. And this is going to be your project, and it's going to be a viable project. And it's going to be a project that you can show to potential employers. So we're going to build you up with really hands-on skills in the first four courses. Take those skills, let you build a project that you keep, that's yours forever and ever. Show your management, show your colleagues, show your potential new employer, and you'll blow them away with that. You know, if they see the tools that you use to build that portfolio, if they see the skills you've used in building that portfolio project, you'll be you'll be beyond other employers out there, other employees out there who don't have a portfolio project like this. This is a great way to finish up the project. Again, it combines all your skills, all the tools you've learned in the first 4 courses, so you can create this final portfolio piece. Cool. The other part of this is we have a web design professional concentration. That's really for people who are in the industry and want to start specializing a little bit. They want to go more into the user interaction side, the UI side. And these are there are 4 required courses online, and they're all fully instructor-led. This professional concentration is 12 academic units, again, 3 units per course with about 120 hours of study. And those 4 courses are creating functional websites, web programming with JavaScript. And here's the difference between the certificate and the concentration. You'll get a web design and production course, and then a UI, user interaction design for the web. So this is just a different look. If you want to go in this direction, we offer the professional concentration. This is usually for people who have been in the industry a bit, but want to branch out and specialize in this area a bit more. So again, we've got the certificate program, and here's the professional concentration. Let's talk about our fast track, and this is something that we're going to be urging people to come into. You can complete the program in 12 months. You can pay up front and save 15% on all courses when you enroll. We're going to waive there's a candidacy fee, we'll waive that. And then as the courses come up, you'll receive priority enrollment into the course. So we call this the Web Development Fast Track. Gets you through the certificate program in as little as 12 months. You save some money, you get out of there, and you can enroll ahead of other students as you enter into these courses. So we're really urging that you look at this as a possibility for getting through our certificate program. When do these courses start? Well, the next cohort is going to start on January 18th. That's going to be for the Fast Track program. So the cost for that is $3,500 and some change. That reflects the 15% discount. So the courses are $825 each. So 8 times 5 is $4,125. So the 15% is reflected here. That's $3,506.25. You can also take courses by themselves. So for instance, if your employer is paying for courses, they said, I've got $1,000 towards this. You can create, or you can take individual courses within the Fast Track experience. But just bear in mind that once you start the Fast Track in January, you can't then come in later on and try to enroll, because we're just running this one more time starting in January to get you through in 12 months. So if you change your mind halfway through the 2021 year, you'll have to wait for our next opportunity that we will enroll, unroll next September, October. So this is the cost and the start date for the Fast Track. And again, if one course catches your eye, you just want to take that, or if you only have an employer budget of that, we'll welcome you into those classes as well. There are discounts available as well. So if you're part of the Cal Aggie Association, you get another $50 off. If your employer says, hey, there's 3 or 4 of us that want to take that, we'll give you a 10% discount on that. We talked about the 15% off the Fast Track. That's an option if you pay up front. And then by coming to the information session today, we'll give you an additional $100 off of that. You have ways of financing your education through UC Davis. The student loans and state agency organization funding goes through TINA. There's her email. If you're a military or vet funding, you go through Debbie Sellers or Ton, and you don't have to write these down. We'll be sending out this info session at the end. So you'll be getting a recording of this info session that has our contact information as well as the people to contact to finance your education. That's the end of our formal presentation. We welcome questions now, if there are any out there.
John, we do have a few questions that I can relay to you. So they seem to be around scheduling and things like that. The first is, what's the schedule like day to day, week to week? Every day in the classroom, how many hours per day? How does that look?
Yeah. Bill, do you want to take that on? I mean, what's your experience in the classroom?
Sure, sorry. So most of the courses are self-paced, and you work on it at your own time. So there'll be weekly assignments, and as you work through the courses, you'll be turning in assignments and getting feedback from the instructor, and you can ask questions and connect with other students. Some of the courses in the specialization that John mentioned towards the end have some real live sessions attached to them. I teach the UX UI course, which I also developed, and that course we meet once a week for about an hour and a half on Zoom to share work and do critiques of design work. It's really, really important in those classes that you have kind of a real-time connection with each other around sort of the quality of the work that you're creating. But otherwise, it's mostly independent working and completing assignments on your own.
So if you're working full-time, Bill, you can still enroll in the certificate program?
Yeah, yeah. You can enroll in the certificate program and come to those meetings once a week.
Great.
Yeah.
And what about getting help if you're stuck on an assignment or a problem?
I mean, that's what the instructors are here for. We're here to help out with everything along the way, and it's really normal in the process of learning the stuff that you will get stuck, and that you'll need some help. That's the value of taking a class in a program with instructors that are committed to doing it, as opposed to just learning from a book or doing tutorials online.
Okay. John, another couple of questions that we may have touched on, but let's make sure that we emphasize. Do we have to take the classes in the required order? And if so, are they going to be available every semester? And we know that the time with this program is limited for now, but do you want to address that?
Sure, yeah. The courses are built sequentially, so we do ask that you take the courses in order. And once you're in the courses, you'll understand why. You want to take this first creating functional website course because that will lay the foundation for other courses. So you'll take the courses as intended, and the schedules will reflect that. So we try to give you a little pace in between the courses so that you can take a break, but we do ask that you take the courses in rows. So we're trying to build them from simple to a more complex learning environment. So it's to your advantage to take these courses built out in the sequence that we offer them. Yes.
Now, what if you have prior experience or a course experience already? Are there courses that you can pass out of, or how does that work with regards to the certificate?
To get the certificate, you will have to take all 5 courses, and we appreciate people coming in with some understanding and some skills. But this is an academic course, so to get the certificate, the requirements are to take the 5 courses.
For students in the fast track, do you have a sense of how long it usually takes them? Is there an average completion time?
The students that go into fast track are usually motivated. They usually, they don't want to spend 2 years in a certificate program. They want to get out and start earning some money. So I think when we looked, about 80% of the people enrolled in Fast Track complete the certificate within a year.
Great. And a very important question, when is the deadline to apply for the January 2021 Fast Track program?
You can apply up to the day before. I wouldn't do that. I would start applying now, but we do take applications up to the start of the course, which is January 18th.
Okay. Maybe this question was covered. Oh, okay. I see Bill covered the question of are there preferred devices?
Mm-hmm.
What other questions do we have? For people who take this certificate, can they take courses related in web design and production or user interface?
Sure can. Yeah, this is a good building block towards that. Yeah, and remember, you will be building up academic units within the UC Davis system as well. So always keep that in mind. But sure, this is a great foundation to take some other courses. You bet.
Great. And I think we saw what a fixed schedule looks like for the Fast Track. That will be in the link on the web page. And just a reminder, when this recording is finished, I will email a link to it to everybody who was here if you want to catch up on anything that you missed. And that email will include a link to the application page, which also has the schedule for the Fast Track program.
Alex, are we through our questions?
Just about. One more just came in. So these are...
Aaron had asked about the Fast Track program and something I was speaking about, but I don't remember what I was speaking about at the time. So I don't know if Aaron, if your question got answered or if you still have a question. But I believe the Fast Track program just refers to paying for the courses up front and then getting on a track to finish them quickly.
That's correct.
All the other features of the courses are the same, really.
Right.
Okay.
And Bill, I know your time is limited and you may have to head out soon, but maybe you could recap. There are a lot of online coding programs, as somebody has mentioned. How does this one stand out?
I think it stands out in that, as John said, it's an academic program. It's taught by people that have been vetted, and the curriculum's been vetted by UC Davis. And it provides us a solid foundation in the field. And for me personally, as somebody who's been teaching in this field for a long time, that's really important to me. I've looked at a lot of the boot camps out there. Some of them are quite good, but they're sort of very narrow in what they approach. And with this program, you're going to take a 10-week course understanding HTML and CSS. Whereas if you go to a boot camp, they're going to do that in a week or two and then move on to the next thing. So I think that that's a big difference. The community colleges is also another thing to look at, and I teach at the community colleges, but they are very much beginner classes only at the community college. The community colleges are generally just 2-year programs that have kind of just level 1 and level 2 classes. This one goes a bit more in depth. So I think hopefully that answers your question.
Great. Well, thank you. John, there's a question to differentiate between the certificate and the professional concentration. Mm-hmm. There's different courses for that, or is that something that you can speak on?
Yeah, we can go back to that real quick. The certificate program is 5 courses that build upon each other, and the professional concentration is 2 of those classes, plus a UX UI course and one other course. So it's shorter. It's more of a concentration, and very honestly, it's usually geared for people who are already working in the field and want to specialize a little bit more on the design side.
Great. Well, I don't see any other questions right now, but of course, we're always available by email if you think of some later. And I will be sending this presentation out to everyone with further links. John, do you have any final thoughts?
I just want to thank everyone for attending this morning. This is a great field to be in. The Northern California, Sacramento area is booming. This is a trending area. It's trending up, and you've got a good starting salary to go for. And I really want to thank you again for attending the information session. And I want to thank Bill Mead for hanging out with us for the hour too.
Great. Well, thank you. And thank you everyone for joining us.
Great. Thanks again, everyone. Bye-bye.